Aisha is not only a child bride of Muhammad who Muhammad fondled from age 6, whom Muhammad had sex from age 9 while Muhammad was in his 50s. Aisha is also a young child who was playing with the dolls. She didn't even know where babies are coming from. Aisha is also someone who has been abused and accused in Muslim world. And of course, Aisha is also someone who, by Allah and by Muhammad, her dignity is taken away from her. Aisha is someone whom by Allah and by Muhammad her value is taken away from her. Aisha is also someone who is by Allah and by Muhammad her honor is taken away from her. I'm not expressing this in the intention, oh, because Aisha couldn't even look after the word of Allah and allowed a sheep to come and eat it. We do not have that much expectations from just a child. While Islam takes the value, dignity, and honor of Aisha, Dr. Shabir Ali steps in and gives her value, dignity, and honor which Allah took from her. In 7th century, for you to have a hot chocolate or for you to have a falafel with someone, a man who is not your first family member or who is not your husband, all you've got to do is shove your boobs to this guy. He would come and suck your breast for 10 times. Oh, I'm sorry. In the beginning, it was 10 times. After he sees your breast or your boobs and sucks it, Allah showed his kindness and his mercy, because Allah is the most gracious and most merciful, brought that to 5 times. So, for men to come and have fellowship with you, men to come and have falafel with you, for men to come and say hi to you, all you had to do as a Muslim woman, show your boobs to this man and he would suck your boobs for 5 times. But alongside of that, miracle took place. Miracle was a sheep turns up and then eats these verses. When we look at the most reliable sources of Islam, such as Sahih Muslim, there is a chapter titled as Breastfeeding an Adult. As you read the chapter, you see the wisdom of Allah on this. Pages after pages, hadiths after hadiths, we get to read the stories of Muslim women who allowed her boobs to be suckled by a man who has got a beard on his face. You can get 4 pages of the story from Sahih Muslim, volume 4, and then you read it from hadith number 3597, page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4 until 3605. Islamic sources tells us a man who has got beard should be sucking your breasts not only 1 time, not only 2 times, not only 3 times, not only 4 times, but 5 times for him to have sit down and have falafel with you. It's not only Sahih Muslim, not only it's in the Sahih Hadiths, but it is also in Muwatta Malik. Muwatta Malik, book 30, Hadith number 12, gives us the similar stories, and in this story also it expands and talks about actually Aisha was passing those men who need to suck the breast of Aisha to her sister. I am assuming reason for that is simply because Aisha's boobs were not grown yet, or she just fed up for this man's come and suck her breast. It can be very, very creepy. You simply show your boobs to strangers, and apparently after they suck it, they cannot have any sexual desire, or lustful desires towards you. Full wisdom of Allah. Full wisdom of Allah. That is simply taking value, dignity, and honor of females. Not only any females, alongside of 7th century woman, that child Aisha had to go through that. And people were quite okay with that. Until recently, it's been expressed that there are lots of problems in the Quran and preservation of the Quran, because there is a hadith simply tells us, actually, the reason we cannot find those verses in the Quran because a tame sheep came and eat it. Poor Aisha didn't even know where to put the Quranic verses. Sheep comes and then hangs out with Aisha, and then we find verses in the tummy of the sheep. Not the boobs of Aisha, but the verses is in the tummy of the sheep. This is one of the most clever thing a sheep does. Sheep comes and then eats the verses which simply takes the value, honor, and dignity of the woman. But sheep hasn't been very successful because Allah and Muhammad was quite okay with that. As we move to 21st century, we get to see how Shabir Ali was very uncomfortable for strangers to see the boobs of his mother of believers, Aisha. So he come up very good explanation and tells us what are the ways we can help today Muslims to give the value, dignity, and honor of Aisha back to her as the mother of believers.
Evidence of it, because the last piece of such physical evidence we would have had was eaten by a goat. So such narratives are not the most authentic narratives in our tradition, and when we put this all together with the bare physical evidence that we have, we find that there's no reason to accept these narratives.
So you would discount those hadith then?
Yes.
Even though hadiths have been mentioned in most reliable Islamic sources in Sahih Muslim, Shabir Ali says, actually, yeah, there is a problem with the honor of the mother of believers. Therefore, we will simply discredit this. We pretend it was never there. As those hadiths couldn't make to the Quran, which is I'm very much grateful on the behalf of Muslim women, we get to see this most holy sheep in London. Sheep made it into the London, recently been drawn into the Leicester Square in London. We give place, I think not we actually, Muslim needs to give place to this sheep on the throne of Allah. It is the one of the holiest sheep. Even though sheep had all the verses in her tummy, but probably didn't have very good tummy for a couple of days. But overall, sheep helped rescuing honor, dignity, and value of Aisha, the mother of believers. I would like to take this opportunity and thank Shabir Ali for giving value, dignity, and honor back to Aisha, which was taken by Allah and Muhammad. I would love to take this opportunity and say thank you to everyone who looked after this sheep, educated this sheep, trained this sheep to go and be part of the journey where the value, dignity, and honor of Aisha is given back to her. Because according to Shabir Ali, last evidence was eaten by this sheep. And I am sure this sheep become a barbecue to Muslims in 7th century. Let's hope still there is a place on the throne of Allah for this sheep who gives honor, value, and dignity back to Aisha. Thank you, Dr. Shabir Ali, and thank you to this lovely sheep.